Y'all, I don't know if I can continue to do this, bro. I don't know if I can continue to sit through, even though it's 1 hour less than it used to be at 3 hours, it's 2 hours of garbage every week. Every single week, it's the same garbage, man. No one contributes to making Raw a good show. Literally nobody contributes, bro. Nobody. Gunther is one. Oh, I'm about to rage on Gunther is one of the worst champions I've ever seen. Ever. He is one of the worst world champions of all time. All he does is show up, just like Cody Rhodes and his little, I respect thee, ho, I love thee, ho, I need thee, ho. All that nonsense. These dudes just show up in suits and just talk and talk and talk and talk and don't wrestle. Cody Rhodes, 6 months since becoming champ. How many SmackDown matches? Maybe 3 or 4? Gunther since becoming champ 2.5 months ago. How many Raw matches? 1? Are you kidding me? All it is just talking and talking and talking, and it's like, okay, if you're cutting good promos, that's one thing, but they're not cutting good promos. And don't even get me started with Liv Morgan and her garbage title reign. She has a backstage segment tonight, and all she talks about is the same stuff. Just like Rhea Ripley cuts the same promos, that's all Liv Morgan does. It's the same stuff. She goes up there, she's in the backstage, she's like, well, I took Dom, I took the world title, I have Raquel, I have the Judgment Day. It's like, it's the same promo. I'm about to lose it. It's the same promo. How many weeks are we going to watch the same piece of content? Nothing's evolving, nothing's changing, nothing's improving. Fix it. Every single show is the same thing, man. It's just so garbage. And the editing tonight was bad. The way that they flowed from segment to segment was so choppy. You know, Samantha Irvin's fired. I don't really care, right? Because I was, your winner, the American Nightmare. It's the same stuff. You know, good luck to her on her future endeavors and all that stuff, which will probably end up being her doing OnlyFans, you know, with her recent track record, right? But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter, right? This episode of Raw is absolute and utter trash. The crowd sucks. The editing sucks. It wasn't a fluid show. And on top of that, nothing happens. Nothing happens on Raw, right? You start off with Rollins and Brunson. Brunson Reed pretty much gets attacked by Seth Rollins. This is a good start to the show. He attacks Brunson Reed in the locker room, and when Brunson Reed's trying to walk out on his way to the ring, right? This is pretty cool. It's pretty nice. Now it's a big brawl. Rollins goes out into the ring. Brunson Reed follows him out there pretty much. And after this happens, Rollins and Brunson get into a brawl like at the ring or kind of outside of the ring or whatnot. And after this happens, Brunson Reed tries to put Seth Rollins to a table pretty much. And first off, he tried to do a tsunami, I guess, first. Then he tries to put Rollins to the table. Rollins ducks out of the way, and Brunson Reed goes right through the table, and a piece of the table like flew up in the air. It was a pretty sick spot. And then after this, I'm pretty sure we got the New Day versus the Final Testament, right? This match was mid. No one remembers anything that happened in it. You think in 5 years anyone's going to be like, yo, bro, do you remember the episode where New Day fought the Final Testament? They're probably going to ask you, well, which episode was that? Because it happened 15 times, right? So that's that. Then R-Truth interrupted pretty much near the end of this match, and he fought The Miz. And, he fought The Miz on the outside, and then the New Testament ended up getting rolled up by Kofi, and Kofi got the win. And Xavier Woods is holding Kofi back after this. He's like, no, Kofi, don't go and help R-Truth, even though he's getting 5v1, bro. Don't help him, even though he just helped us win the match, bro. Don't do it. He's like, he tells Kofi, he's like, Kofi, they know what's up. It's like, what are you talking about? He's like, they know what's up. Okay, so you're just going to let R-Truth get 5v1'd? It's like, what? And then the Wyatt 6, the Jobber 6, comes back after 5 to 6 weeks. And you know how you know the Wyatt 6 is full of jobbers? Is because they haven't been on the show in like a month and a half or however long it's been, and you can't even tell that they haven't been on the show. They carry no impact. They have no presence. They have zero presence at all, right? They don't show up. It doesn't make a difference. Nobody cares. Chad Gable and the new American Alpha team, what has changed about them from the time they lost to the Wyatt 6 and the time that they are now? It's the same thing. The Wyatt 6 doesn't do anything, and they're jobbers. And now they're going to be fighting the Final Testament? This is literally Jobber Mania happening on Raw. We're getting a free PLE, guys. Jobber Mania. But the Wyatt 6 shows up. They save R-Truth and beat up the Final Testament and everything like that. And that's pretty much the segment. While Uncle Howdy comes out and puts the mandible claw on, what's the dude's name, man? I forget the dude's name, bro. Paul Ellering or whatever. John Ellering. I don't even remember the dude's name, bro. I don't know how I forgot it. But actually, I do know how I forgot it. Because he hasn't done anything in the 5 billion months he's been on the Final Testament. So yes, obviously I don't know what he's doing. I don't care what he's doing either. And that's that. The Miz pretty much gets saved by Paul Ellering, and then that's pretty much it, right? The Wyatt 6 are going to be fighting the Final Testament. This will culminate in a street fight in about like 3 or 4 weeks, and nobody will care about it. Literally nobody will care about it. If they make this a match at Survivor Series War Games, I'm not watching it. I will go downstairs and go play like 2K or go play Rainbow Six Siege instead of watching this garbage at Survivor Series. Mark my word. Anyways, but that'll be just a regular, just like, a normal one-off street match between these two groups, and nothing will change about the Final Testament, and nothing will change about the Wyatt Six. They'll both be jobbers. Then we have Brunson Reed and Rollins brawling again backstage, and after this brawl that just comes out of nowhere, it's officially made up that we will do Rollins versus Brunson Reed at Crown Jewel with no stipulation on the match. We're just going to get a normal one-on-one match, and that's what we're going to get. It's absolute nonsense. Why would I want to watch a normal match with Seth Rollins and Brunson Reed? Why would I want to watch that? I like Seth Rollins, one of my favorite wrestlers. But at the end of the day, why are we watching Seth Rollins versus Brunson Reed with no stipulations? Right? I hope they add a stipulation to this in the coming weeks, but it's like, are they really going to do that? Probably not. So yes, Seth Rollins versus Brunson Reed is happening at Crown Jewel. They keep brawling, all this other nonsense is happening, and that's pretty much the story of the whole situation. That's really all that happened with all of this, right? They brawled a couple times backstage, but this was the last brawl, and then that was pretty much it. Then we get Damage Control versus Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. Now, I just want to say something before I get into this, because I'm going to spend a couple minutes just talking about how garbage Liv Morgan is as champion, and how mid this match was. Number one, Liv Morgan is the worst women's champion I've seen in my life, right? Now, obviously, I stopped watching from like 2016 to like early 2023, but at the end of the day, I can recap what I remembered. And when I was growing up, AJ Lee, Nikki Bella, so on and so forth, even Paige, right? People like that, Eve Torres, Beth Phoenix, all those other people, Trish Stratus, they were much better champions than Liv Morgan is. It's not even close. Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley's storyline has drawn out. It's stale. It's dead. It's old. It's washed. Whatever word you wanted to use to describe it, it is awful. And it has ran out of gas completely. It's boring now. Nobody cares. So what? Rhea Ripley were to win the next match, right? Let's just say that she won the title. So what? So what? Rhea Ripley can't cut promos and can't tell stories. So let's say she won the belt. What happens next? Nobody cares, right? Liv Morgan keeps the belt. We're going to continue to get bad segments and bad promos and the same thing. Rhea Ripley's just going to say the same stuff. I got my title back. The one thing I never lost, yeah? My title, my title, my title. And then Liv Morgan's just going to say, I took Dom from you, I took the Judgment Day from you, and I took your belt. Come on, man. This is such bad content. I cannot believe that I actually sit here and watch this garbage, man. It's unbelievable. But Liv Morgan and Raquel versus Io and Kairi Sane was mid. The only person in this match that actually looked like they cared and actually didn't botch anything was Io Sky. Kairi Sane was botching. Raquel Rodriguez was botching like crazy. And Liv Morgan, we already know she's not that good in the ring. So obviously she put in a disaster class during this match. This is expected at this point. Io Sky is the best in-ring wrestler in the women's division right now. The only exceptions to that are Bianca Belair and I guess Charlotte Flair when she's healthy, but she hasn't been here in like a year. So it's just we're watching the same matches, it's the same people, and Liv Morgan barely wrestles, first of all, so I'm surprised she wrestled tonight, but when they do wrestle, it's always a tag match, or a 3-person tag, or this or that, or this or that. It's like, dude, just wrestle! Cut a promo and then wrestle. Right, and we're going to talk about this with Gunther Sorry behind in a second. It's unacceptable. When I was growing up, Batista, Edge, Cena, Orton, Triple H, etc. List goes on and on and on. All of these champions would cut promos and defend in the same night on a weekly basis or on an every other week basis. Why now are all these champions just relegated to cutting the same promo backstage and then disappearing the rest of the show? Why? Anybody know? Nobody knows. It's nonsense. But anyways, Liv Morgan and Damage Control, this match basically ends in a DQ because Lash Legend and Jakara Jackson get involved, and that's that. And then we have another problem with this entire situation. Rhea Ripley comes out and beats the crap out of Liv Morgan and Raquel, and Dominic Mysterio comes out there. He gets beat up too because at this point he's just a cuck. Dominic Mysterio is literally just a cuck, man. Kind of like how Cody Rhodes is like, he sits back when Kevin Owens tells him, he's like, Cody, you're not going to wrestle tonight, bro. We got the bloodline. We handle it, man. You go chill out somewhere. And Cody just listens. The WWE champion is just listening to some undercard jobber like Kevin Owens telling him what to do. And in a similar manner, Dominic Mysterio just goes out and just gets beat up by different girls each week. It's the same thing. Dominic Mysterio is a jobber. I'm sick of people saying, oh, well, he's great. He's a heel. He gets over. He's overrated. He doesn't do anything. Even when the crowd wasn't booing, like in his early years in WWE, what was he doing on the mic? What was he doing in the ring that was so impressive? Nothing. He's a jobber, and after they're done with this Judgment Day storyline, he's going to be putting fries in the bag. That's what he's going to be doing. He's going to be just like Andrade putting fries in the bag at McDonald's, right? Serving my Krabby Patty from Wendy's. Rev up the fryers, bro. So stop it. Anyways, Rhea Ripley comes out here, and WWE, this is another issue. Triple H books Rhea Ripley like the Hulk. Or like Batman with the insane plot armor that she's been given. She takes a code breaker, which is Liv's finisher, and she basically eats it right to the face and no-sells it. She no-sells it and then knocks Liv down with a headbutt or whatever that move is, and then just throws Liv out of the ring like a piece of trash. And then Dominic Mysterio gets grabbed and thrown into the ring and gets put in this weird submission hold, right? And at this point, they pause on this submission hold like this for a second. And it's like, you don't even know what's going to happen next, right? This just looks weird. It's a weird shot they did. But anyways, Dom gets put in the submission hold, and that's pretty much the end of the story, right? Dominic runs away, he gets helped out by Liv and Raquel, and they all run away. Raquel is supposed to be the big powerhouse of the group, and Rhea Ripley is still 1v3ing the Judgment Day. They're booking her like she's a legend, but then she can't win an actual match for the title. Nothing makes any sense. You see what I'm saying? It doesn't make any sense. How are you able to do all these things, but then when the title match is on the line, you can't win anything? It makes no sense. Liv Morgan is booked like a wimp champion. She is an awful champion, and the Judgment Day are booked like absolute jobbers when they're in the presence of Rhea Ripley. You're getting 1v4'd and 1v3'd by Rhea Ripley, who has no belt, no nothing, and she's booked to be stronger than everyone in that faction. It's absurd. Absolutely absurd. Then you get to Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee versus American Made. Again, like I referenced earlier, the crowd was absolutely dead all night, and the editing and the flowing from segment to segment was awful. So in between each of these matches, you'll get like a random backstage segment, like Raquel cut a backstage segment. Her promo was awful, and pretty much in that situation, you're basically just stuck there watching boring content that's not flowing seamlessly with the editing. And when the crowd's dead, and Joe Tessitore, which we're going to get to him later, he's just saying absolute nonsense in your ear, you're just sitting back watching one of the worst episodes of Raw that you've ever seen. So that's really the end of the discussion with that. But Rey Mysterio, listen, this match with the Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee versus American Alpha was great, right? Or American Made or whatever their name is, right? American Made, I think. They're pretty good, right? It was a good match. Julius Creed and Brutus Creed are talented in the ring, and they're young too, so they got a good future ahead of them. And Rey Mysterio is awesome. He was in his mid-50s, I think, or early 50s, whatever, wrestling more than Cody Rhodes. Why is Rey Mysterio wrestling more than Cody Rhodes and Gunther? He's in his 50s. Rey Mysterio is incredible. He is going to go down as a legend because as much as, I don't like the idea of him still wrestling at this age, he is doing an amazing job. He goes in the ring, he sells great. He's athletic. He performs his moves. It's almost like he hasn't lost a step at this point. And Dragon Lee as well deserves some respect. He's really athletic and he's young and he's got a good future ahead of him in the ring as well. He does his job, right? But the problem is, why are these people wrestling more than your champions? It makes no sense. This company is built on the backs of people like Montez Ford, Carmelo Hayes, LA Knight, Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns is the only guy in all of this company that could not wrestle for the next 4 weeks, and I would be okay with. Everyone else is required to wrestle in the next 4 weeks. Everyone else. Because Roman Reigns is the one exception, because guys like him, or, Cena when he comes back, The Rock, etc., these people are bringing mass amounts of money and viewership to your company. And we saw this literally on Friday. I saw a stat. It was like Roman Reigns' segment with Jey Uso on SmackDown got like over 1 million more views than the segment with Cody cutting a promo on Gunther. Right? And Cody's your WWE champion. That just lets you know how much views and how much notoriety Roman Reigns is bringing to your product. So he gets a pass for not wrestling because he's earned it by carrying this company on his back for 5 years. But these other jobbers need to be wrestling week to week. People like Rey Mysterio and Sheamus who are grinding and, absolutely, putting on amazing matches week after week and continuing to put on banger matches more than, our actual champions. These are the people who deserve respect, and these are the people who the company is built on the backs of, right? So at the end of the day, this match was good. I needed to shout out Rey Mysterio and shout out, Sheamus because they're doing amazing jobs. They wrestle great matches, and at their age, for still be doing this, it's absurd. Same thing with Randy Orton, who also has probably wrestled more matches than Cody Rhodes this year as well, and even Gunther. Anyways, after this match, we got Gunther and Damian Priest in a backstage promo. Gunther says absolutely nothing as per usual. I don't even remember what he said because he didn't say much of anything. He's like, I'm going to show up this Friday and I'm going to talk to Cody Rhodes and that's that because I said so. You know what I'm saying? And then Damian Priest comes back there and this is just laughable. Damian Priest basically goes, yeah, well, El Campeon is coming back after you're done handling your business at Crown Jewel. It's like, what? Damian Priest isn't going to do anything. Damian Priest is a transitional champion who is an absolute and utter jobber. There's no reason that Damian Priest should ever be fighting for a world title again, and if he does, he's probably going to lose the match. So that was pretty much that. Damian's like, I'm getting my title back. Like, no, you're not. Damian Priest is a one-time champion, and it's going to stay like that. If he ever wins another world championship again, I honestly would be surprised, right? I really would. I'd be absolutely shocked because all these people do is show up in suits. They show up in suits, they don't wrestle, and they don't cut good promos. So what are they there for? Exactly. They contribute nothing. Then you have the main event, which was absolutely atrocious. In the ring, it was boring. The whole match was boring, and the crowd was absolutely dead all night. The only thing they got alive for was the Rey Mysterio match, right? And they were chanting 619, all this stuff, and they got a little bit hyped for Rollins as well. But outside of that, this crowd was dead. You know, Jey Uso's entrance was nice, that's great. But nobody cares. Nobody cares. This match was boring. In ring, it was slow-paced. There wasn't any exciting or crazy moments, quite frankly, and it wasn't anything compared to their first match they had a few weeks ago that was actually very good. And the bottom line with this match is that they disrespect your intelligence. In this match, the Bloodline gets involved. You know, surprise, surprise. Tonga Loa and Tama Tonga are brought back up the ramp by, you know, the officials and Adam Pearce and all these other baldos, right? They bring them back up the ramp. They're brought back in the locker room, and the ref is still looking into the locker room. He's still looking up the stage because he's insane. He's insane. They insult your intelligence and think that why would the ref be looking up in the stage and up to the locker room when everyone's already in the locker room? He can see them visibly going back to the locker room, and he's still looking up there, up on the stage, right? And then Jacob Fatu comes ringside, and Samoan drops Jey Uso onto a table. Now, I kid you not, if you go back and watch the broadcast, the ref was looking over in the direction of the announce table around the time that this was happening. So how did he not see this? And number two, why was the ref not counting at all during this match? At all. Whenever they would go outside, he would never count at all. You wouldn't hear him count a single number at all. He wasn't doing his job, and he was looking directly at the table when the match was interfered with, and nothing happened. They insult your intelligence and just make you believe that the ref is just some idiot. It's stupid. You could have at least had the ref get knocked out by an inadvertent move, and then you have the Bloodline interfere. Or you have Jimmy get involved and help Jay retain so that he doesn't spend 14 years trying to get some singles gold, and then he finally gets the singles gold, and he gets 14 years for a 14-day reign. That's literally all there is to say about this match. It was atrocious. It was absolutely atrocious. You need to speed up the process and just have Jay and Sammy join the Bloodline with Jimmy and Roman and get to the Survivor Series War Games match and get to The Rock's return and start building for Mania. Because what WWE has done from April, basically WrestleMania 40, up until now, has been a disaster. It's been a disaster. I understand from January to April was incredible for WWE. You know, every single week was pretty much good television for the most part, right? The PLEs leading up, well, actually they weren't good. I mean, Elimination Chamber was garbage and Royal Rumble was pretty mid, you know, but WrestleMania 40 was very good. I loved WrestleMania 40, right? But outside of that, nothing was cooking. Nothing was cooking. The only reason things were cooking was because of The Rock, Roman, and Cody and Rollins build up to Mania 40. That's it. Outside of that, nothing was good after that WrestleMania 40, bro. Once that all blew over and Cody finished the story, we saw how awful that title reign turned out to be. So this main event was stupid. Jey Uso grinds and gets a singles belt and does all this stuff just to lose it back after 3 weeks. You know what I'm saying? 14 years for 14 days of a reign. And that was absolute and utter nonsense. They did it in a way that disrespected your intelligence because apparently the ref has just lost his mind all of a sudden and stops doing his job. And then Jey Uso loses and gets speared, and that's that. Now Jey is going to have to join the Bloodline again, and we're going to get a massive build-up to Survivor Series War Games where it's going to be the old Bloodline versus the new Bloodline, and that's how things are going to go. And at the end of the day, I'm excited to see the Bloodline reunion because the Bloodline is awesome. The story has been phenomenal over the last 4 or 5 years. But at the same time, why are we putting the belt on Jey Uso just for him to lose it in 3 weeks? You get what I'm saying? It doesn't make any sense. You're the most overact in the company at the moment besides like LA Knight and Roman Reigns, and you're still losing in 3 weeks? It's like they'll take away anybody's belt as soon as he sees fit. But the funny thing is that Hunter will not put the WWE Championship on the best option that he sees fit. You get what I'm saying? Guys like Randy Orton, you know, LA Knight, etc., who are Roman Reigns even, who are all way better than Cody Rhodes, right? Seth Rollins as well. All these people are way better than Cody Rhodes and way better than Gunther. And Drew McIntyre also is in that bunch. He's way better than all of them. And you know what? None of these guys get championships this year. None of them. Absolutely none of them. Roman was champ the first 3 months, disappears for 5 months. Drew McIntyre holds the belt for 4 minutes and then loses it. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. The real talent in the company doesn't get the titles, but jobbers do. And that's why Raw is in the state that it is, because these jobbers don't contribute anything. They show up and talk, cut the same promo and say stuff about, oh, wrestling and wrestling and wrestling and wrestling this. And then the ring general does not wrestle. And that's what you have on Raw. People who don't wrestle, don't contribute, don't cut good promos, are not engaging storytellers, and continue to make bad product week after week. And that's why this episode of Raw gets a 2 out of 10 at best. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and have a phenomenal day. Peace out.